Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from Miami from the Exchange ETF conference. Joining me to wrap up our two-day coverage, we have Cott, President of Cott Consulting. We're going to take a look at the way advisors are leveraging ETFs in client portfolios. Eric, I can't think of anyone else besides you that I have to wrap up a conference with, particularly Exchange ETFs, our history together, covering the space, especially options and ETFs, so no one better that I could close this with. Thanks for joining us. How are advisors leveraging ETFs in their portfolios?
First of all, it's a pleasure, and congrats on all the success you've had along with Nasdaq. Advisors it took a little while, you and I talked about this years ago, to embrace ETFs, but especially on the side of options, which is near and dear to my heart. Advisors now realize that with the volatility we've had, but let's go back last year, the challenging for advisors and their clients, performance, all those things together, advisors started to say, wait a second, mutual funds were important, but now with more choices in the ETF industry, the ecosystem, again, kudos to Dave Nottig and all the folks at Vetify with what they're doing, there's just a larger list of investment choices, giving advisors kind of the way that they can actually predefine some of these portfolios for their clients in a risk tolerance way, but also they can look at this to say, what are the themes that I want to show my advisor? Is it ESG? You know, or again, we've seen such prolific growth, parabolic growth, with firms offering these overlay strategies where it might be fixed income combined with, say, a covered call strategy. So it's nice to see a lot of that, but again, with all these ETF providers together, they're looking at the universe and they're saying, look, we got to bring more product and more ideas to the advisor because I think the retail clients are demanding it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about some of the key themes that we've heard at Exchange, and I think the biggest one that resonated with me, 2022 was the year for active management.
Yes.
2023 is really, really the year for active management. Part of the market environment, part of the fact, to your point, that clients are looking for different kinds of thematics, and that's, you know, they're putting their money where they want what's important to them, their values-based investing.
Sure, and I think, you know, again, I just sat into a panel I told you about with Roy Williams, you know, the iconic coach from North Carolina that coached Michael Jordan. And what he was saying was, look, you know, when you start to see what's, you know, going on as a team player, you know, and I think I'm hearing a lot from these ETF providers, is that they're getting actually ideas from their folks that are out in the field. And again, with my consulting firm, that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of sort of bridging the gap between the buy side and the sell side. I hear a lot of this at conferences. You travel a lot too, that what's happening is someone might come to you know, an advisory firm and say, look, you know, this is kind of the investment I want to look at. How can we start to do this? You know, everybody's talking about energy. Everybody's talking about, you know, what's going to happen with the Fed. You know, is there a way for us to capture maybe some alpha in an investment that might not be out there yet? Or how can we maybe look to alter maybe some of the suite of funds that we have, maybe to kind of revamp it a little bit? So we're also seeing a lot more of that. You know, maybe some of the changes to actually start to see what's happening in 2023 when, again, you've had a lot of folks on your show in the last couple of days, fixed income is actually back as a topic of conversation.
Yeah, it's the last time we really thought of fixed income and sexy, you know what I mean? But there's so, I mean, the durations are getting shorter with some of the ETFs that they're creating. The ability to have multiple sectors within that asset class in an ETF because of the function of the ETF wrapper. But one thing I love about Exchange, when you sit and you listen in the panels, to your point, with all these different points of view, you have an issuer, you have an asset manager, you have an index provider like Nasdaq on a panel. I mean, that's really where you get the ideas. I mean, you know, there's three big verticals in the industry all together in one place.
Yeah, and I think also what's interesting too is that, you know, seeing this conference happen, where more and more advisors are coming to it to kind of not necessarily get credit, although they sort of want to do that, the ones who are accredited, CFPs, CFAs, but also to interface with the provider, where they can really kind of dig deeper and get a better understanding. You know, are you offering something that, say, has dividend growth to it, but let me learn a little bit more about it. It's sort of like that Tesla model. Like if I can go to the dealership and see it and then talk to the individual about how the car is built. I think that's where the encouragement is coming a lot from.
Yeah, well, using the car analogy, lift up the hood, see what's going on. And as silly as it sounds, like, well, I had Vanguard on my show. Nasdaq 401ks are through Vanguard. So it's kind of cool to like meet with the provider. So I think it's great that advisors are coming and, you know, get it directly from the source. What do your clients want? Advisors can talk to the issuers directly. It's a bonus for everyone.
And again, to your point also, Vanguard was just up there as well. And what's happening is that you're also seeing folks that maybe came from the sell side who were traders that so well,
Yep.
and maybe were in an institutional background, now coming into this realm and saying, maybe now there's an opportunity for me. I have an idea. Maybe I can come out with an ETF.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see more of that. So it's wonderful to be back in person again and see all of our friends and colleagues, and obviously to meet some new people. But it's just an incredible ecosystem in the exchange traded world, and I think there's a lot more ahead.
Yeah. All right, Eric, we appreciate the insight.
Thanks
for joining us on
Congrats
Trade
again on your graduation.
Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us for our coverage in Miami at Exchange. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.